Okay, so this video is going to be kind of off the cuff. There is a big reason why I am doing this. I figured I have a little bit of time because I am bulk preparing my dinner for the rest of the week. It's a Tuesday. I like to prepare everything on Sunday. I just didn't get to it. So this video is not a cooking video. But since I'm cooking and I'm talking to you, I'm going to explain what I'm doing. There's really nothing to the recipe. I really wanted to come on here and just be really candid with you all about what's going on in the GLP-1 space. Because right now, I feel like it's the wild, wild west. The reason why I say that is because everybody is fighting for a position, and you've got women and men out here that are really challenged with something that's probably plaguing them more than anything in their life, and that is their health. I always say that health is wealth. Forget everything else. If you don't have your health, then what good are you to your family, to your job, to your career, to the things that you want to do? And so if you have been exploring GLP-1s, or you're curious if you're using them, if you have been exploring peptide therapy, that means all the things are in your algorithm. If it's in your algorithm, then it's all up in your feed. That's all you're seeing. And so I'm sure that you are seeing all the confusing and conflicting advice. And so I get trapped in the doom scrolling just like everybody else. Today, I was scrolling, I was getting that dopamine hit after dopamine hit, and I just couldn't take it anymore. At some point, it's like, you got to put something into action, right? So I figure, let me just come on here and be candid and be real with all of you. And I figured the best place for me to start is to explain to you why I only work with women on a GLP-1 journey. I have been a health coach for decades. I am a certified nutrition coach, certified strength coach, certified personal trainer. I own 4 gyms. Like, I've been in this space for a really long time. It's not my first rodeo. I started to notice about 3 years ago that my clients were getting very, very curious to what's going on with these GLP-1s, especially with the emergence and the popularity of compounding pharmacies, right? So now we're not dependent on big pharma to produce semaglutide and tirzepatide. So now the access to them is getting a little easier. It's still expensive, but now it's a little bit easier. You're not beholden to the insurance approvals. So you can get on them. So now they're very curious about them. And everything around GLP-1s, for the most part, is done in secrecy because you don't want anybody to know what you're doing because you're afraid that people are going to think that you're cheating. I'm here to tell you that using a GLP-1 is not cheating. And especially for women, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. People want you to lose weight. Then you find something that works and they're like, oh, but you're not doing it the way that I think you should be doing it. It's quite ridiculous, to be honest with you. That's why I don't do a lot of before and afters. I don't do videos with my clients talking about their experiences because women are still trying to figure out this GLP-1 journey for the most part in silence. I'm probably a part of like 10 different GLP-1 or peptide therapy Facebook groups. Even though that's a community there and we're all there to support each other, what I see a lot of times is someone will ask a question, maybe a freshman question that's probably been asked a million times, and you have people jumping in, just being mean about it. You're getting information from people that are unqualified or really don't know what they're talking about, right? And so that is a cause of alarm to me. The other thing that I see is women just being prescribed the GLP-1 with no guidance. I have some people that are very close to me in my life that have just been prescribed with no guidance. And then you're sent to go on and try to figure out what it is that you are supposed to be doing. Your doctor telling you that you need to increase your protein and work out is not guidance and it's not support, right? And so now what we see is kind of the wild, wild west of what's going on with these weight loss drugs. We see weight loss between the gray market, compounding pharmacies, prescribing doctors, the insurance companies, the big pharma. We're seeing a bunch of fighting going on there. And then there's us on the other side that are really just looking to solve one of the biggest struggles that they are experiencing in their life. I originally started off as a business coach. I was a business coach to small business owners that were women. And I kid you not, 9 times out of 10, when I'm coaching a woman in business, it's not their strategies or their thought process or the way that they're thinking about scaling their companies that's throwing them off. It's the fact that everything else in their life is in turmoil because their health is spiraling. It's down the drain quickly. And so I quickly realized that my knowledge and skill set of coaching really isn't in business coaching. It's more in the lifestyle and behavioral changes, the cognitive behavior that you need in order to really be able to use a GLP-1 as a tool, right? So what I find is the information, what a woman needs, especially a woman in midlife, what a woman needs is not more education. We've got ChatGPT for that. We've got Google that has AI attached to it. We've got all these things that are readily available for us to find out information. We don't need that. What we really need are real strategies to be able to accomplish our lifelong goals. And it all starts with your health. So I really just got fired up and I wanted to come on here and talk about why I only work with women on a GLP-1 journey. So I will tell you, 90% of the ladies that I work with, they start off on a GLP-1 and then they're in my community and they see my videos and all the things on Instagram and eventually graduate into advanced peptide therapy. And I think that's wonderful because of what peptides are. We already have peptides in our body. It's just that our signaling is a bit off. We might be depleted in one. A peptide is just looking for a receptor. When you go down the road of pharmaceuticals, like drugs, when drugs enter your body, it acts like a bulldozer. It doesn't care if things are functioning. It is bulldozing everything, trying to solve or repair a symptom. Peptides don't work like that. When peptides come into your body, they know what the F to do. And that's why I love them, because the side effects are really not many. Most of the side effects come from human error, I'll say that. It's really disturbing what I'm seeing. And so now we got big pharma trying to claim that peptides are biologics because they don't want the compound pharmacies to be able to do anything really with their main moneymaker. And then you've got prescribing physicians that are saying, oh, I don't like compound pharmacies. And then you've got people that are promoting the gray market peptides, which I think that there's a time and a place. And I'm getting ready to go into a lot about gray market peptides and where they are applicable or might be applicable when you would want to explore that avenue. But you've got people that are just really into the gray market. I'm talking about the people that own gray market peptide companies that are saying, you don't need pharma. You don't need your doctor. You don't even need a compounding pharmacies. Just buy this and then download my dosing, my protocol sheet, and off you go to the races, right? You've got those people. And of course, you've got compounding pharmacies that are beholden to everyone. They don't know if they're coming or going half the time. And so for me as a health coach, my biggest goal is to help my clients navigate through all of this ridiculousness. I think that if you asked any physician, especially a physician that lives in the world of prescribing GLP-1s, they will admit that the development and use of GLP-1s to fight obesity is probably one of the biggest health developments I know that I may ever see in my lifetime, right? And the thing that gives me a lot of pause, and I know this because I work with physicians that develop protocols for peptides and GLP-1s, is the way doctors are prescribing GLP-1s. The way it is dispensed, if you are covered by an insurance company, is all or nothing. Like whatever's in that pen is what's coming out. You can't start higher, you can't start lower. It is what it is. And I just don't believe that is the right process for people to be using these therapies. The other thing is that people seem to be confused about when you're dialing up the dose. It's really not what you think. There's more that goes into it. 9 times out of 10, when I meet a woman that is already on a GLP-1 being prescribed and covered by her insurance, in my opinion, and in the physicians that I work with, that dose is way too much. And it really all starts with how it was prescribed, the protocol in the first place. And I see a lot of people being prescribed doses that are way too high for them. And that really worries me for women because being able to get that toxic, inflammatory fat off of your body is so important for the lifespan we want to live, the quality of our life. And it's something that has plagued a lot of women for decades. For decades, they've been able to be CEOs of companies, start businesses, raise children. They're now caretakers to their parents. This is one area of their life that they can't seem to get a grasp on. And now there's a therapy out there that will work for them, but it's not working for them. I don't know if I'm making any sense here. So I hope I am. The therapies and what I've seen people have the most success is number one, are you the ideal candidate? The ideal candidate would be, and I'm going to speak just the population that I work with, women between the ages of 45 and 70. The ideal candidate in that demographic is a woman where nothing else is working. You are getting the sleep. You are hydrating. You are moving, especially daily movement. You are doing the strength training. For the most part, your diet is where it needs to be. You know a little bit about macros. If you don't know fully about macros, you need to get at least 0.6 to 1 gram of protein for your ideal body weight. Like I said, with the way a woman doesn't need more education, maybe somewhat, but for the most part, I find that women know the basics, especially if they're doing a little research. And you've also you've had your blood work because we know over 40, we've got to go to the doctor for some tests like several times a year, right? So you've done a general blood work, right? A lab panel, and your doctor is saying nothing is wrong. So the ideal client for me, or the ideal person to be using a GLP-1, is the woman where she's doing all the things and nothing is responding. The reason why I like to work with 503A compounding pharmacies is because they can control the protocol. And you can't do that with insurance dispensed and covered GLP-1s. You need to start off low and go slow. That is the way to do it. Where women are running into problems is they are not eating enough. They're not eating enough for several reasons. Number one, your dose is too high. We want to be able to calm the food noise, not make it disappear. You need to be able to still feel and recognize what a real hunger signal is. And then you need to be using the GLP-1 as a tool for you to learn the cognitive behaviors and the lifestyle changes that are going to lead to sustainable weight loss. Even when I see other GLP-1 coaches out there, what I don't see is a firm protocol on what happens when you get to your goal weight. I hear a lot of professionals telling women, stay on the GLP-1 forever. Now, scientifically, that's possible. But what if you don't want to stay on it forever? What if you want to slowly come off of it? But a lot of women are afraid that they will not be able to control their hunger. They're not going to know what to do in certain situations. They just won't be able to function the way they did on the GLP-1. And so I just don't see a lot of people teaching the behaviors that you need to focus on so that you don't have to stay on the medication forever. Now, a lot of women want to microdose, which is taking a dose that is, scientifically speaking, significantly insignificant, right? It's typically below what a prescribed starting dose would be. And that could be for several reasons. I don't want to get into all of those reasons because right now it's kind of like off-label use, right? But I have a lot of women swear that microdosing of GLP-1 helps with their anxiety. It just helps with general inflammation. It helps with eliminating the need to overindulge with alcohol or eliminates alcohol altogether. And a lot of that is behavior related, where they've learned the behaviors to not depend on coming home after work and drinking that bottle of wine or multiple glasses of wine. But there are many reasons a woman might want to microdose a GLP-1, and that is a protocol all on its own. The thing that really scares me, and I've seen this in my coaching practice, are women, not with the women that I coach, but women that come with me and I talk to them. Women will lose all of their weight on a GLP-1, and the bone loss is real, ladies. Especially if you're over 45, the muscle loss is real. Do you know how hard it is to build muscle between 45 and 70? First of all, you're involuntarily losing muscle just because you're in that age group, statistically, right? If you're in a caloric deficit, approximately 25% of the weight that you lose is going to be muscle. I've seen women eating 500 calories a day, 1,200 calories a day, and then they hit a plateau. They hit a wall. So what are you going to do? Drop your calories to 300 a day? At this point, you have to implement a protocol to come off of it for a significant period of time, repair your body, or what I would call give your body permission, do the things that gives your body permission to continue to lose weight. And then you may possibly get on it. But it all begins with what kind of protocol you were given in the first place. And I'm telling you, ladies, we're doing it wrong. We're doing it wrong. So you have that. But the muscle loss is real. It's important to be able to track what you're starting with, to be able to track the amount of muscle that's on your body and your bone density throughout your journey. It's very important that you're doing the lab work at regular intervals and you're not just doing a general lab protocol. We need to go a lot deeper than that. For some ladies, GLP-1 won't even work because you have so many other underlying conditions. It's either not going to work or it's not going to work as good as it could because you don't really know what's going on with your body. Getting that initial blood work and doing it through regular intervals throughout your journey, whether it's 6 months, 12 months, a year, 2 years, whatever, is going to be very important. It gives us a roadmap versus you just guessing as to what to do. You want to be able to combine your GLP-1. You want to be able to do the BPC 157 with the TB 500, get in that GHKCU copper peptide, the glow protocol. So you have glowing, vibrant skin in your 50s. When you want to get that visible toned, lean look, you want to be able to add in those growth hormone secretagogues. You want to be able to take the tesamorelins, the CJC 1295. You want to be able to experiment with those things. But what's the use of spending that money if you don't even have a roadmap? So I'm just telling you that I see and talk to women every day, and we're doing it wrong. But you have a chance to do it right. You really do. And so I just wanted to come on here and let you know that there is a better path. I feel that you need a support group, whether it's coaching from me or another qualified coach, but you need to know what's right from wrong so that you can stay off the drug. In my program, I have developed a protocol that not only weans you off the drug, but it allows you the opportunity to develop those behaviors in the lifestyle where you're not dependent on it, if that's what you want. Again, you could have an option of a microdosing protocol, which a lot of women do. There's nothing wrong with that. But for somebody to say, no matter what, I'm going to gain the weight back unless I'm always beholden to taking this shot, I don't want both kind of shackles. Now, I'll probably use peptides for the rest of my life, which means I'm injecting just about every other day. The GLP-1 is once a week, but that's just me. I can take a break when I want, but I'm metabolically optimized. You got to get metabolically optimized in order to have these peptides be effective. And the way to know if you're optimized is by running the blood work. It's very simple. Sometimes these are things that you can do at home. You could have concierge services come to your home and have it done. You could go to thousands of locations around the U.S. that are available just to be in and out in like 15 minutes, ladies. Take some time to travel there, 15 minutes in and out, and have a roadmap on what you need to do to get your life together. Because remember, a lot of the problems that you're experiencing in your life is because you're not walking through life confident. You're not confident because, quite frankly, you're overweight. And because you're overweight, you're inflamed. You have inflammatory fat that's most likely sitting around your stomach, your thighs, or your lower back. The name of the game is get that inflammation off of you. Then your body will be optimized. You will be so surprised. A lot of the women that I am working with, they're 50 and their bodies are functioning like a woman that's between the ages of 27 to 31. You may not even have the vision right now for how good it can be. Another thing that I hear, people loved like their HIIT workouts, their CrossFit workouts. I own Orange Theory, so it's a pretty intense workout. And I've seen these women give up these workouts in exchange for Pilates. I like Pilates too. It's not the end all be all. For me, a woman that has been strength training their whole life, it's not enough muscle stimulation for me. But for a woman that's really never picked up a dumbbell, that could be the trick. We just got to figure out what's going to work for you. I've seen these women give up these workouts that they love. Marathon runners giving up marathon running or long distance running because their bodies are fighting against them. They have aches and pains that don't allow them to run anymore. Or they do a difficult workout and it takes them days to recover from the workout. And so with these therapeutics, it now allows them to do the things that they enjoyed and loved, things that worked for them in their 20s and early 30s that like no longer are working for them. They can now restore their bodies back to how they were functioning during those decades of their life. So I just wanted to come to you and just This is my what I would call keeping it real. I'm making a chicken here. I haven't even put it in my crock pot. But yeah, so I've really enjoyed making YouTube videos. I can't wait to just tell you guys more about my journey, my clients' journeys. But do me a favor. If you feel like you're not ready to work with the coach, that's fine. The best thing that you can do is subscribe, get on my email list, on my Yellowbird email list. And so that's all in my channel description. Probably going to put it in this YouTube description. Within my newsletter is where I put things that I would never say on camera. Protocols, information about gray market peptides, things that I am now seeing because things are the wild, wild west. I'm seeing people's pages just being pulled, people's channels completely being pulled because of the things that they are talking about. I find it quite interesting that when women of a particular age find something that's actually working, that the powers that be all of a sudden don't want you to know about these things. Money's always involved, ladies. All of that is really in my newsletter. If you're ready to explore what real results and sustainable results might look like, I would encourage you to book a call with me. For a lot of women, that is the clarity that they need. Sometimes we end up working together. Sometimes I'm able to point them in the right direction. Maybe it might not be a right time for you now, but 6, 10 months, 12 months down the line, it might be. That clarity is sometimes an aha moment in terms of what steps to do next. Until next time, I am Adrienne from Yellow Birdie Wellness. I am here for you. I'm here to support you, and I'd love to connect with you in any way that I can. I am rooting for you, and I'll check you in the next video.